Good morning, everyone. I'm John Evans in the WECT Digital Studio. We are about to go live to Castle Hayne in the New Hanover County to hear from the DOT engineer about preparations for potential winter weather coming in southeastern North Carolina. So I'm going to go ahead and pot this up. This is going to be Blake Jacobs, the county engineer for New Hanover County. And we're about to hear from him momentarily about the preparations DOT is undertaking with the possibility of winter weather coming into southeastern North Carolina. So let's go out to Castle Hayne. Hopefully we will hear Blake Jacobs, the New Hanover County Division engineer, tell us a little bit more about the preparations being made for the weekend weather, and then we're going to hear from a member of our First Alert Weather Team on the latest information that we are hearing as far as what's ahead for our Sunday and the possibility of winter weather. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this up.
We're not going to be live, are we?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
We're not. Mine's pretty.
Everything's live, man.
Oh, it's never been live.
And again, you're hearing a little bit of the talk between Mr. Jacobs and some of the
Well, I'm going to go ahead and hit record since they're going live.
photographers going on up there. So you're hearing what I'm hearing in this location. Again, this is at the New Hanover County DOT Division 3, the maintenance yard in the Castle Hayne area of the county.
And then if you'll give me your formal title.
Blake Jacobs is who we're going to hear from. He is the division engineer.
ACOBS, New Hanover County Maintenance Engineer.
For NCDOT?
NCDOT.
Beautiful. Cool. All right. Are you good to go ahead and just start asking questions too?
Yeah. He was going to say something. What did you want to say to everybody?
So this morning our trucks started pulling out around 7:30. We're doing our pre-treatment, brining, starting with all our major routes, going from 40 to 140, down to our 421s and 74, 17. We want to make sure that we get all our island bridges pre-treated. With the unknown of this storm, the uncertainty if it's going to be, snow or rain, we want to be prepared. That's really where we're at.
So what is in the concoction that you guys put down?
So
what makes it?
Our pre-treatment is called brine. It's a salt water mix, and it goes down on the pavement, and that way, when any inclement weather gets in it, it will react and keep it from freezing. But once the temperatures get real low, there's really not a whole lot we can do. Once it gets down into the low 20s, the salt really doesn't activate like it should.
All right, absolutely. We had our meeting this morning, and there's potential predictions for if we do get rain for black ice on Sunday night into Monday morning. If the brine, once those temperatures hit and that black ice hits, like you just said, salt doesn't always react the way it should. What are just some safe driving tips for those temperatures, for those inclement weathers, when, like you said, it may not always react the way it should?
So it's always safe to stay home during these weather events in the unknown. But the DOT, we are going to have a crew here Sunday evening into Monday morning with our salt spreaders. So we would, if we get a call or if we are aware of any black ice or slick spots on bridges or whatever, we're going to be prepared to go out with our salt spreaders and put salt on top of it. And it will react. Still in low temperatures, will not react as quick as we would like, but it's still going to react and help with the surface.
Yeah, it'll mitigate a little bit. I'm not sure if this is something you can answer, but just being with DOT, let's say people are out and about and they have to do something or go to work and they start to skid. What is the best way to keep from?
Use safe driving practices.
Yeah.
It's up to them to. I'm not a professional at that, so.
I got you. That's completely fine. Like I said, if you can't answer it, not a big deal.
Yeah,
so as far as just the maintenance aspect, how often, do you guys prepare in advance if we are getting inclement weather?
So we're always prepared here. We keep salt. We keep about 750 tons of salt on hand at all times. We keep our brine tanks stocked, and we've got 15,000 gallons of brine that's always in our tanks. It takes us a day to equip all the trucks. Smaller events like this is very good for us to put this equipment in the truck and get it running, because of we don't run it very often, and there's little pieces, little quirks of the equipment that may need work on. So it's good for us to get out and do some stuff like this to keep the equipment up in case we have a larger event.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys, we know what the forecasts are, but you just want to be prepared just in case something else comes, or in case things get a little hairy?
Yeah, there's always the unknown, especially on events like this that come from the south. You never know. They come off the ocean. It could really impact us with some heavy snow or an ice. But this one we hope it don't. But we don't want the weather forecast to change tomorrow and say, all right, we're getting a couple inches of snow. We don't want to be behind the 8 ball. We want to be up front and do all we can to be prepared.
Again, you're hearing some of the questions being asked of Blake Jacobs, the division engineer in New Hanover County, regarding the winter weather possibly hitting on Sunday.
Every event's not the same. It's the same practices that DOT does, but they're all different. We always try to learn from our mistakes and move forward.
Do you know what lessons you learned from last time?
Not off the top of my head. We treated the best we could last year. One of the biggest factors last year was the temperature staying below freezing for several days, and people will get out of the house after a couple of days and start driving, and what that does is compact that snow down to ice, and it just makes it tougher for us to scrape off. But that's about what I got.
So when you're obviously going out in these inclement conditions as well to salt the roads and be prepared, and if you get called for black ice, like you had mentioned, when you get those calls to come and top off the black ice, that's a little dangerous as well. So what do you and your men do to prepare to try to take these big trucks out on dangerous roads?
So we do as much training as we can. We have safety policy and procedures that and tailgate safety meetings that we do every morning before we go out for any job. So we try to give the guys as much training as possible and give them everything they need to work safe and positive, especially with the traffic and everyone's still out there. We got a job to do. One thing I can say for the public is to give us a little room. If they see our trucks, every truck that we send out here, because there is so much traffic in New Hanover County, we send a follow vehicle behind it to just give a little more caution to the people. Give us room, let us spray it, and we're going to move on, and then they can move on with their day. This weekend being a long weekend for most with the holiday, I would encourage everybody to stay home, and take advantage of maybe a day off and spend some time.
Especially with that being the prediction of Saturday.
Once again, DOT engineer Blake Jacobs in New Hanover County talking about preparations for the possibility of winter weather arriving here Sunday. News conference going on at the DOT maintenance yard in the Castle Hayne part of the county.
We have in the past gotten calls, especially on the bridges, like Snowscut Bridge going down. The Dan Cameron Bridge, it's on 140. It's a big high rise. We have gotten calls on that before, so I anticipate probably getting a few calls somewhere around town on Sunday night.
Yeah, and I was driving down 40, and it looks like the road is a little white. Is that?
We're going to hear from a member of the First Alert Weather Team after this news conference is completed. So stay with WECT News Now. We're going to continue to bring you an update on the forecast, what we possibly could expect here in the Sunday hours with the potential for severe weather and winter weather.
For a long period of time to wash all the salt off.
Again, just kind of what are the things that you want people to know, kind of a takeaway from what you guys are doing here?
Just give us room. We're out to try to make the traveling public safe for North Carolina. We just want to make it the best we can for everyone.
Yeah. And is there anything that we haven't mentioned at all about the process, the mixture itself, when it gets washed off, how it reacts, anything like that you would like to just add?
I think we've pretty much touched
And you said
everything.
that you've got a crew, 3 crews. Is that you said?
So Sunday night I'll have a 6-man crew with a supervisor, and myself will be here. So there'll be 8 people here Sunday night. We will have 3 trucks equipped with salt spreaders, and that way we can tackle 3 different areas around the county on Sunday night, Monday morning.
You mentioned those main areas in the beginning, but can you just touch those areas one more time? Like you had mentioned some of the roads that
Yeah, if we get black ice down on Snowscut Bridge, we're equipped. We can send a truck south towards Carolina Beach, and then we'll have another truck that we can send on 140 and hit the larger high-rise bridges, and then another truck to hit any other area that may be a concern or call that comes in.
You mentioned earlier the weather conditions are more severe than you expected. You're able to bring more crew members.
Absolutely. With DOT maintenance, everyone here is on call 24/7 for anything that comes up.
What changes are you looking at that would necessitate that response?
It would have to be the weather changes. If anything changed in the weather prediction for maybe more snow, more accumulation, more ice, whatever it may be, then we would make the necessary arrangements to bring more people in.
Absolutely. I think I'm good.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Once again, that is DOT engineer Blake Jacobs, New Hanover County Division engineer, talking about the DOT preparations for the possibility of wintry precipitation in southeastern North Carolina, some of the takeaways. Gabe Ross from the First Alert Weather Team joining us here. Gabe is going to give us an update on the forecast. You were listening in as well as I was. They're going to pre-treat. They started pre-treating the roads, 40, I-140, 17, 421, some of the major roads they started with this morning. Bridges, again, pre-treating with the brine substance, the mixture of salt and the precipitation is on it. It helps when it gets really cold. Sunday night, they'll have a crew in case things get worse than they expect. But let's go to you, Gabe, and find out what the latest is on your forecast for what we might see on Sunday.
Well, first and foremost, I mean, my personal opinion, I think NCDOT, I mean, they're out ahead of this. They're spot on with how all this is good. This is, quite frankly, folks, not going to be the kind of system that we had last year, where we had like 2.5 inches of snow. It's just not shaping up to be that at this point. I think really the biggest impact isn't necessarily wintry precip. It's going to be anything that's left on untreated roads that could freeze as those temperatures fall back. So that brine solution and the salt solution that they put down is going to be really good. Something else that works in our favor this go around is I don't think temps are going to be quite as cool as we had last year. So that kind of rendered a lot of that brine and salt not ineffective, but it, takes a lot more for that to actually work. So we're in a much better situation compared to last year. So I would be more concerned about some of those back roads that do not get any kind of pre-treatment, sidewalks, those kind of things. But yeah, pretty much, right on par, I think, with all of the messaging there. And another thing he brought up, he's absolutely right. That forecast could always fluctuate. We're talking with, a couple of degrees in temperature, evaporative cooling, those kind of meteorological factors that really in some cases could make quite a bit of difference. But I think a lot of folks will be relieved to know that as of this morning, this is trending to be a cold and rainy system. So if you don't mind, if you pull up Max 1 for me there, this is what's new this morning. The overnight models, again, trending rainy. There still could be a brief switch over to freezing rain, wintry mix, or snow flurry, especially to the north, really away from the Wilmington Metro and the beach. As the system exits, the biggest impacts and concerns, though, like I said, going to be as temperatures cool off after all that rain's fallen. Looking at about a half-inch plus, pretty consistent across the Cape Fear. So it's not like just select spots we got to worry about. It seems like it would be a pretty widespread amount of up to about a half-inch or so plus. So let me break down some of those hazards for you here. Rain obviously trending very likely. The mix and snow definitely not as likely, but still possible. I'd say icy roads and overpasses. So treating the bridges, all of that, definitely a good call. Another thing that has come up that a couple people have asked about are power outages. And really, I'm not expecting any with this kind of like cold rain scenario. If we wind up in a freezing rain situation,
Right.
that's a little different. But the way this is looking is that it falls as a cold rain. And then if that has a chance to drip off the power lines, and it's not really going to weigh them down all that much and likely not to cause too many issues. That said, we have to watch this still as it rolls through, because a couple degrees difference, especially in some of those mid-levels of the atmosphere, can make all the difference.
And we all remember what happened last year, right about this time, January 21st, 22nd, almost 3 inches of snow coming into the Wilmington area. Other areas of the southeastern North Carolina got more. And Mr. Jacobs even said during the news conference that one of the things that was in play last year that is not going to be in play here is that it stayed below freezing last year. And what was on the roads last year froze.
Yes.
And so we had the problems of more than one day with some of those freezing conditions. He said even today during his news conference, that's not expected today. So they're being proactive, putting that brine solution down, again, on the bridges, on the overpasses, 41, 40, 17. And again, like you said, pre-treating, being proactive in what they did so they don't get caught. Even if the forecast changes, they're trying to be proactive this year and not get caught maybe like they did last year.
Yeah, and you may have heard him in the press conference there as well say that, you know, unless we get like a big like deluge of rain, the brine's likely going to stick around. And I think even with a half inch of rain that we're expecting out of this when all is said and done, it shouldn't be enough to negate the effects really of that brining solution. So yeah, a lot of different elements from this year compared to last year that play in our favor. Obviously, we're down south. We don't have the kind of salt and snow plows that you would find up in the northeast. You know, that's the reality. Will they reconsider that at some point given the population boom down here? I hope so, but that's a discussion for another time. But this is not that kind of system. This is not a bread and milk, hunker down for 3 days kind of thing. It could be a little touch and go Sunday night into Monday, depending on the timing, mind you. But I really just don't think it's going to be that kind of situation. I'll bring you now to our latest cloud and future radar modeling. First off, this afternoon, despite the sun and southwesterlies, it is going to be a bit of a struggle to get even into the upper 40s to near 50. Clouds come in tomorrow, couple stray showers, maybe in the afternoon, but most of this moisture is going to train in kind of Saturday night and early Sunday. So there's some of that right now. You see, even off to the south, you're thinking, oh, wow, is that, you know, is that just colder air off to the south? It's what we call evaporational cooling. Kind of works like sweat in a little bit. How, you know, when you sweat, it kind of cools the body off. It's kind of the same way here. And when we're talking a fine, you know, temperature line here of a degree or two, that's where all of that could come into play. Back to the Cape Fear, you notice some spots on the periphery there. We've got Bladen, Cumberland, Sampson, parts of Duplin County. I won't even rule out some spots in Pender and Onslow County that could pick up on some of these snow flurries on the back end. It would be a very, very short duration kind of thing. And really, I think you're more worried about the rainy impacts, but still, you'll want to be paying close attention. Again, here are the latest models. This morning's American model, maybe a little more bullish on a mixed precip. We're going to take that with a grain of salt because this really is an outlier here, but the rainfall's pretty consistent here as we look at about a half inch plus at the most. And yes, snow lovers, I'm sorry, this is the latest on that. Still could see, you know, trace amounts and it'll look pretty, but it's not going to be the kind of thing that just absolutely cripples us here in the Cape Fear. Not that kind of storm.
Yeah, and Eric was talking about this last night when we did a Facebook Live. We were talking about the cooling, and even, you know, I saw in one of your models, Charleston was even looking like some of the possibilities that they might see more of a mixture. And it really is, in this instance, as he was explaining, you need the precipitation and you need the cold at the right time in order to give us what we got last year. And it just doesn't look like it's going to align that way this time around.
It's such a delicate dance compared to other spots in the country that are more susceptible to even other parts of the Carolinas that wind up with more snow than we do. Right on the Carolina coast, it's kind of a frontal graveyard. So as this cold air rushes in, like we here on the coast are the last people to get that. And sometimes it slows down. The timing doesn't work out just right. So that's why I think this is going to be more so a cold rain event. We'll continue to analyze the models as we go through the rest of the day. Meteorologist Ella Tanzi's in for WECT News at midday and first at 4. Eric's back in tonight. We got the whole crew on for the weekend. So with that, I'll leave you with the 10-day planning forecast. This specifically for Wilmington, but you can dial it up for your backyard on the WECT First Alert weather app. But look at tomorrow, mid-60s. That's going to be the day to be outside. The changes happen on Sunday, really only rising a couple degrees if we can before falling back into the 30s and then eventually into the 20s. But a 26-degree temp here in the city, I think that's going to fare well for us. And then keep those cold weather preps through at least the middle of the week. Overnight lows in the mid-20s, probably not going to First Alert weather day those, because those cold weather preps are already in place, but more seasonable upper 50s and lower 60s, I think, by the time we get to the end of next week, and then eventually maybe some shower chances heading into next weekend.
Well, already got my tea time for tomorrow because I
good.
know we're not going to be able to play on Sunday.
Probably a good call.
And again, the key to remember here is download the WECT First Alert weather app, have it on your smart device, your phone, your iPad, whatever it is, because these guys are looking at the models as they come in. They're changing things as it needs to be changed. And again, WECT News at noon, midday. We'll have another update, 4, 5, 5:36, 10, 11. And if need be, we'll come back in here and do an update on the forecast if there are urgent needs that need to be met with the forecast. Gabe, appreciate it. Thanks for joining us anyway.
Of course.
And we'll keep everybody up to date. Download that WECT weather app. It's the way to stay in tune and up to date on what's going on. And Gabe and Kim, we'll see you on WECT News at midday. Thanks for watching.